y. And that's our calculation. Alright, so we now have a function to convert our world position into a grid position. And we also have the previous one to convert grid into world.
Alright.
So now down here we can simply use that function. So first we define our x and y. Then we call get xy. We pass in the world position. We give an out for the x and an out for the y.
Alright, so yesterday what we were doing is we were just going over the ability to change the number on each square on the grid. So now we're going to pick it back up. Let's see. I have no idea how this works. YouTube streaming, I'm not entirely sure I understand how you work. I'm not gonna lie. But I guess it's fine, because delete forever the other one. Because I already have one up and running. But anyways. Alright. Cool. Get the feed for this one going.
Anyway, give me this.
Is this up? This, throw it in here. Right back in. Alright, we're set and we're rolling. Okay, so set away. Got this up.
And then we simply call
Okay.
set value with our converting x, y, and pass in the value. And that's it.
Yeah.
Alright, so now let's go into our testing class. And in here, let's test setting a value on our mouse click. So let's do a private void update. And in here, let's test for an input in order to get the mouse button down. Let's test on the left mouse button, so index 0. Now when we click, let's set the value on the grid. So in order to get the world position, again, we can use the codemonkey.utils.
Alright.
In order to get the mouse world position. Again, here is the function in case you want to build yourself. We just go into the world camera and call screen to world point on the screen position. So that's how we get the mouse world position. And now in here, we can now go into our grid. So let's store a reference to the grid, our grid. We construct it on start, and then here we call grid.setValue, pass in the mouse world position.
I think we already did this part. Yeah, we definitely did, because we already have the ability to manipulate it.
Click outside, and yep, there you go. Clicking outside does absolutely nothing since we decided to ignore any values. However, now if I go
I do need to spice up my grid,
yep, there you go,
the
we
background.
updated
I know
our grid
blue isn't
value.
just
So we can
really
now
attractive,
modify
I
our
know.
grid by simply clicking on the desired element. Alright, awesome. We have all of our code working perfectly. Now that we can set a value, let's also make a function to get a value. So over here on our grid, we have our two set value functions. Let's make the equivalent in order to get a value. So we're going to make a public, going to return an int, call it get value, and we receive an int for the x, int for the y. And in here we validate the value the same way. And if it's a valid value, we return from the grid array x, y. And if not, then we have an invalid value. So in here it's up to you. We could, for example, return -1, or in this case...
Oh, dogs. You guys gonna come back in here right when I start streaming? Wait, it's only... It is not time for you to go outside, you butt. I'm just lonely. I know. I'm not the same person that usually takes you out for a walk.
Now let's test them. So in here, let's read the value on the right mouse button. So in here, just doing a debug.log, getting the value on the mouse world position. Alright, let's test. Okay, here we are, and I right click outside, and it always prints 0, there it is. And now I right click in here, it says 0, left click, and I've set it to 56, right click, and there you go, it is now correctly reading. So that one reads 0, that one reads 56. Awesome! So you can now set and get values from our grid. Alright, now something else very useful is to have a variable origin.
Oh, I gotta go back to that, because I totally didn't do that. I was too busy messing with the dog. Sorry! I wouldn't imagine it's too difficult, though. We already have a set value, or a set function, so we're probably just gonna need to get one. Alright, so stop that, pop it open. What we got? You know what? I probably shouldn't have that open in case I accidentally messed it up. So we're just going to take this. So it looks like what he was doing was, well, go in here first. So we're getting our, we can left click. It sets the value. I want to get that value when we click on it, so he's assigning that to our right click. Yeah, creating a get value function. So come in here, pop this bad boy open here, change it to get value, and I'm pretty sure it's the same thing. Return function or return, return get wait, oops, okay, so yeah, okay, first you're gonna need to return, you're gonna need to check I mean, I guess it's gonna have to do the same exact thing. Yeah, okay, it's gonna have to do the same thing for the set value. First you have to make sure we're actually clicking on any part of the grid. Alright, so let's stop that real quick. We're gonna need this one too. So I should have copied both of them. Yay. Get value. Is that what he has? I believe so. Again, I know this is a lot of this is just me going over it, looking, typing, copy pasting. But the whole point of this is to go through his videos and try it ourselves, and if we encounter an error, then maybe we can ping him and be like, hey, since you made these videos, there's been some sort of update. And if we're lucky, he'll respond and be like, oh yeah, well, do this, make sure you have this updated. It's pretty much, things do change, engines change, how we implement things change. And by going over this in tutorials and trying it ourselves, also showing you that one does not simply say, I am a game dev, boom, I know what I'm doing. Gives a little bit of heart to everybody out there, seeing that people do start from somewhere, and it's proof that you start from somewhere that isn't always the best, like me. Anyways, okay, so we're gonna validate whether or not you can actually get this. So, what is it? Goes through the check, make sure x is greater than x and y are greater than or equal to 0, but they're less than their respective width and height. So we already have that there. Then he says, we're gonna return, return the grid array. Else, close it out. Else, we're going to return nothing. That. I have a syntax error somewhere. Guess I wasn't paying attention. Public void. Oh, it's not void. We're returning something. Ah. There you go. This is going to be different too. Don't go autopilot while trying to actually copy something, because then you'll just end up with nothing or broken code. Ah. All right, let's see.
All right, we have.
All right, so obviously we're not going to set anything. Just going to get X and get our Y. And then we're only going to get our world position out of this because we're not setting any values. I feel like I should put these together. There you go. Get our X. First we get the grid array. If we click on the actual part of the grid, then we get the value from that array, which is our X and our Y. Wow, I'm yawning again. We get that, and then we return those values. All right.
We have our two very nice functions. Now let's test them. So in here, let's read the value on the right mouse button. So in here, just doing a debug.log, getting the value on the mouse wheel position. All right, let's test. Okay, here we are, and I right click outside, and it always prints 0, there it is. And now I right click in here, says 0, left click, and I've set it to 56, right click, and there you go, it is now correctly reading. So that one reads 0, that one reads 56. Awesome. So you can now set and get values from our grid.
Let's test. Although it should be recompiling. Oh, I did something wrong. Well, let's go back. Look. Oh. If you're going to print anything to the console, obviously you need debug.log. Wahahaha. All right, let's try that again. Compile, good. Click out here, nothing happens. Right click out here, zeros. 0, click. 6. Magic. Cool deal.
Just doing a debug.log, getting the
Promise.
on the mouse wrong position.
It sounds dumb.
Okay, here we are.
Well, I sound dumb.
And
Going through this, it looks very basic. It looks very simple, but after laying the foundations like this, like if you go and watch some of his videos, you see what he's built. A lot of games he's built. All of it's built off of this, and it's very boring looking for those who are like looking for games. How it is. But the base, the bones are pretty bland, so you just have to go through it. You have to build it up. Eventually, you'll get a game. So, yeah.
For example, in Battleground
just keep going through it.
Grid created for each building, and each building is located on a different position. So in here, let's go into our constructor. Let's receive all of this, and then let's also receive a vector 3 for the origin position.
Alright.
Alright, we have our origin, and
so it goes in. Let's add the origin position to the grid. That way we can, if you want to have more than one grid, or rather if you want to have a grid, you want to place it somewhere specifically, there you go. Origin position. Yes, thank you very much. Wait, oops, I thought this was actually my... There we go, the constructor itself. Alright, so we got vector 3, origin position. Go this dot origin position. Did I what? Why isn't it doing it? Okay. Oh, I didn't create it up here. Can't. Must instantiate something first. So vector 3, origin, position. Ta-da. Very good. All right.
And now
got
down
code
here,
monkey.
whenever we are doing our calculations, in order to get the world position or get the XY, when converting a grid position into world position, we do this, and then we simply add our origin. And the reverse, getting the world from the XY, we simply have our world position, then we subtract our origin position, and then we get the X and the Y. Alright, that should...
Alright, so come down here. Cell size plus origin position. Come down here. We subtract our origin position. Why is it throwing that for me? World position minus Oh, I'm dumb. I was trying to do that to the actual X and Y as opposed to world position itself. Origin position. So I can keep my parentheses. Blam, blam. Let's clean this up a bit. Origin position minus. There we go.
You do it. Let's test it out. So here on testing, let's set our origin instead of being on.
Yeah,
let's put
I
it
did not mean to do that.
So let's.
Damn it. So anyways, so he's going in here and he's giving this a new vector 3. Where is he putting
Play
it?
on
We'll just
20.
do this first.
Okay, let's.
He's putting it at 20, 0.
So here.
Cool. Didn't recompile anything. Didn't close this up. Okay, so that's still good. Grid has the same name as Unity. I would like to know about that. I would really like to know about that. All right, let's see. Cool. So this is our first square, and it's starting its position at 25. Zero, zero. So that's already at 20. All right, cool. Testing is at. Just put that all back at 0. So. Neat. Okay, so that makes sense then, because if the text itself is at 25, that's the center of this. So 20.
Here we are, and we can pause the game and look at it. Let's create an empty game object just to see where it is located. And there you go, 0, 0 is in here. And over here on the right, as you can see, the origin is on 20, 0.
Nice.
And let's see if the clicking still works. So click out here, nothing happens. Click over here, and yep, nothing is set. And when I click in there you go, it's set that one, that one, that one.
Wait,
Read
but
also works. Awesome.
it broke.
Alright, so that's
I can't get it anymore. No, what did I do wrong?
As many grids as
I broke something. Send help. Oh, wait. What did I set? Damn it. I was supposed to set something. I think I deleted it. Where's my set value? Set. Over here. If I click, it's supposed to set it to 56. What did I do wrong? Oh no. I borked it. Damn it. Alright, let's figure that out. We need to get this thing back into play. Let's see, grid set. Okay. I mean, none of this changed. What? I gotta figure out what the hell happened. What in the world? If mouse button down, do this. What? Amazing. I gotta figure it out. It's such a little thing too, man. I have no idea what happened. Wait a minute. I wonder if it's one of those things. No, it's not that. That's very interesting.
There you go. Nothing happens on 20.0. And let's see here. And over here on the right, as you can see, the origin is on 20.0. And let's see if the clicking still works. So click out here, nothing happens. Click over here, and yep, nothing is set. And when I click in there you go, it's set that one.
What did I do wrong? Let's jump back a bit. Things really changed. Nothing should have changed. You know, that text down there worries me sometimes. Because I was like, I don't know if that actually is affecting this. If mouse button down. Go to set value. Go to set value. That should work. Huh.
Let's
I love it when stuff like this happens. Well, so origin, position. I think should I have put that afterwards?
position.
Because that's 0. Well, and I think this is wrong. I think my math's wrong. Yes. You know what? We'll give it a shot because that's what I'm thinking. Because it won't trigger if it's like right here we say if x and y are greater than 0, but they're less than the width and the height. Seems like I'm having a math issue. Nothing else changed other than that. Also, process of elimination. Ha. All right, let's see. All right. Yes. Try it again. Hey, all right. That was it. Remember, kids, math is important. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So we got that part down.
Let's set our origin. Instead of being on 0, 0, let's put it to the right. So let's say on 20, 0. Okay, let's see. So here we are, and we can pause the game and look at it. Let's create an empty game object. Right, as you can see, the origin is on 20, 0. And let's see if the clicking still works. So click out here, nothing happens. Click over here, and yep, nothing is set. And when I click in there you go, it's set that one, that one, that one. And read also works. Awesome. Alright, so that's pretty much our basic grid class done. We can also make as many grids as we want with whatever size we want. So let's try making a grid with 5. Let's put it under.
Ooh. All right, so for real, now that we have the ability to do this, you know what we could do? Oh, stretch.
Alright, so here we have a whole bunch of different grids. Each of them has a different cell size, different width, different height, and they all work the same underneath. So you can see how this class, this code is extremely adaptable to whatever needs you have. So again, using this base, there's a ton of stuff that you can do with it. Now in here, I will quickly show several potential uses for this grid map. I'm going to make a simple heat map to show where the mouse has been. I plan to do a completely detailed video on a heat map, but right now I just want to show what can be done using this as a base.
He's spamming through it. Okay, so we're just gonna watch this part for a bit. Essentially, he's adding things in here just to create a heat map, and we're gonna go over that next. I could see a heat map being useful in certain cases, like if you're gonna try and figure out, like, if you're gonna have some sort of representation of, like, I don't know, most traveled paths or something like that, or where the mouse travels most on the screen. Pretty good for analytics too, but well, visualizing analytics, I should say. You know, see where your players are keeping most of their mouse time, things like that.
And it shows how long the mouse has been on a certain position. So there you go, this is a very simple use case of the underlying grid. So all it's really doing is increasing the value on the underlying grid position under the mouse and converting that value into a nice column. In order to make that work, I just added a few things over here to the grid, like for example this event. This gets fired whenever the grid value changes. So down here, when you have the set value, we fire off this event. And then over here on the testing class, I created the heat map visual. As you can see, it receives a grid. Then it updates when the grid value changes. And the update simply creates the mesh. If you'd like to know how a mesh is created through code, check out the recent video I did on creating a dynamic mesh. So here then just gets the grid value.
We're gonna have to make that, aren't we?
In order to change color of that quadrant. And here it is, the texture that I'm
Yeah, we're probably gonna have to make that.
as 1 pixel in black, then
I was gonna just import it
Again,
from my other project, but I think it'd probably be better if I go over that in here.
To show one possible use case for this very simple underlying grid class. I'm also planning another video on how to extend this class to use generics so you can expand it even further. So stay tuned for all of that. As always, you can download the project files and utilities from unitycodemonkey.com. If you like the video, subscribe to the channel for more Unity tutorials.
That's right, guys, you heard. Like his channel, subscribe, Code Monkey, pretty dope. Also, gonna give a shout out to Thomas Brush. I am taking his course. I'm one of his students. I'd show his stuff, but for what I'm doing particularly, it doesn't apply. He does have a course. Go check him out. He offers it. It is paid, but it is good. It's worth it. I'll try to find some relevant courses and go over his tutorials simply because the free ones, the ones he has on his site, because they are pretty good. If I can find some that are relevant to what I'm trying to do, I'll do that too. But for now, getting a grid's pretty important. So yeah. Was it the dynamic mesh is what he said. Where we at? generic. Da, 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 da. Let me go back in this video a bit. Maybe the link will work. It does not work. Make awesome effects with meshes in Unity. How to make a mesh. Oh boy. I think that's a really old link. That's probably why. Oh, there it is. Okay, he had a link in the description. Okay, yeah, I went over this. Cool. Okay, yeah, we'll go over that next. Simply because to do the heat map and various in other parts of this, we're going to need some sort of asset to show it. Oh man, I'm so excited! I can't wait to get to the end of this because he has a good playlist, and a lot of it ends up being like you can build towns. He has like RTS style grid, like how to use a grid. Dude, it is amazing. All right, let me get ahead of myself. We get our basis down. So first, all right, let me go ahead and get this. First, what I'm gonna do is I need to figure out how to get a player controller to just move around the scene. I'm gonna guess it real quick. Because if I make grids and I put them in different places, I want to be able to, like, you know, just move around in game without having to adjust the camera. But, you know, it's whatever. Let's see. Player controller. Nope. Controller? Character controller. Sure. What happens if I do that? If I do this? Can I? Nope. Damn it. Okay. It's not as simple as I thought it would be. I'll have to go over that later, I suppose. For now, we can just move the camera around. Alright, let's see. We'll give it that game object. Okay, so what he was showing is we can manipulate things, right? We have the grid. We can create a few grids, and you can kind of start to see the idea of an inventory system. Oh, stretching. Like an inventory system, a hotbar, maybe what is it, like a status icons. Bear with me. Let's see. All right, so we're gonna go with. I'm taking inspiration from MMOs. All right, or any RPG. So you're gonna have what? Let's say your origin position is going to be 0 for this one. This is going to be your hotbar, right? So you got 1. You got what? 6 buttons. Actually, they usually go up to 10, right? So we're going to say 10. And then you're going to have your, I don't know. You're going to have your status bar, and that's going to be up at the top of the screen. We'll say 10, maybe. I don't think that's actually high enough. We'll say 50, whatever. And we're going to say these guys are a little bit smaller. So status icons, and then say maybe you have a side hotkey, hotbar menu, or whatever. So that'll be where it'll be 1, but it'll be 10 high. All right. Yeah, maybe that will be 10. 0, and it's a little bit offset from the bottom, so let's say 20. This one's at the top of the screen. I don't know if it's actually going to be that high. We'll see. And save. All right, so what we got? Recompiled, hit play. Well, clearly I put them in the wrong spot. Oh, because I decreased the size. Okay, first off, let me move this around so we can see what's up. All right, so if you're looking, what we got going on here is God, it's hard to get everything in frame. All right, so there you go. I meant to actually have this over off to the side of the screen. It didn't turn out that way though. Rip. Let's see. 0. This is supposed to be my side hotbar. Clearly 10 is not enough. So what's that? If this is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 200. So let's go in here and tweak this a bit. Just for the sake of looking at this and figuring out what it should look like. Let's keep that as... So if I shrink it by half, I'm gonna have to increase the amount of movement, or the origin, I guess. So let's see. So this was my first. I'm gonna have to put that up what instead of 50. For the sake of things, let's keep it simple first. We'll do this. All right. We're gonna say 5. Bleh. We'll say 550 or 50-50. Let's see what happens. Actually, that might be huge, but whatever. Let's see what it looks like. Didn't save it, did I? I did. Okay, cool. Saving things while playing. Not a good idea, but whatever. All right, so look here. Okay, hold on. Let me zoom this out. It's too close. Okay. All right, better. So that looks almost right. So you got your hotbar on the side. I guess. Yeah. You got your hotbar on the side. Main bar on the bottom. My status bar still sucks. It's supposed to be up here, but whatever. But you get the gist though. Like, now that you have a basic grid system, you can actually create like hotkeys and hotbars all over your place, all over the place. And if anything, that could end up being an inventory screen. So like, I do have a lot of skins and stuff I plan to throw in here to actually, you know, make it look like a UI system, make it look like a menu system. Like, Unity has a bunch of assets, dude. Like, so many that are either free or always on sale. And I highly recommend people just, when they go on sale, buy them. If you're an indie dev, buy the asset packs because you need sound and you need music, and there's a bunch of them on there. Now, I know you could always go out there and, you know, contract, get a friend, somebody to help you, but usually I'm broke. And this stuff is pretty cheap when it does come up on sale, and there's a lot. Like, you get a huge bundle of just everything. So I highly recommend that. Let's see. I want to get this to at least look good so I can take a screenshot and throw it up online and stuff and be like, hey, look, we did a thing. Congratulations, us. Uh-huh. But anyways, so we're going to turn the grid down. We're going to turn this guy down. We're going to make him 1, and we're going to try to make him smaller. Typically, we'll say you get, I don't know, you have 3 status effects. We'll say that. So we'll get 3 status effects. We're going to change them to be, well, first off, we're going to get them to the right spot on the screen. 50 seems okay. Actually, no. We'll keep him focused on that side, the left side, and we'll put him up higher, say 100. Let's see. I think 100's pretty good, right? Maybe? I don't know. We'll push this guy over a little bit, say 150. And then let's see how that looks. All right, back over here. It's gonna recompile. I'm gonna close it out. My god. Okay. Let's see what it looks like. All right, that's a little better, to be honest. So you got your main hotbar, down here, you got your side hotbar, whatever, right? That one doesn't work. Now that's interesting. I wonder why. Huh. Only the main hotbar works. The additional grids that we created don't work. Now that is very interesting. Wonder why that is. Yep, it's because we're not using. That's really interesting. So the reason they're not working is because we're essentially, while we are drawing new grids on the screen, we're only actually updating the last one that's created. So this guy. So while these were drawn, the one that's currently active is only this guy. I know I'm not saying it correctly, but that's how I interpret it. You probably have a better way of putting it. Others probably have a better way of putting it. But that's currently how this is going. So if we were to say maybe change the name of them. So grid 1, 2, 3, maybe. Let's see how that rolls. Clear. Wait. Oh, yes. All right. So we're going to have to create them up here. So we'll come up here and just say, actually, I could just do that all at once, right? I understand how this works. Lamo. Sweet. All right. Now let it recompile and let's see what happens. No. Okay. So for this, it's only working on a particular grid. Instance of a grid. We need to get it to where it works on any grid. How would I do that? Now we're free flying. Let's see. Any grid. Water. Got it. Okay. Ow. Any grid that we click on, we want it to adjust. How would we go about doing this? Let's see. Put that over there. How would we do this? Get type? How would we do that? Any grid you click on gets updated. It wouldn't be get component. What? Get component type grid. Get component type grid. Set. Would that work? It's not a component though. Why? That's the thing. Let's see. Here, let me test something. Oh, well, it's not gonna work because I broke everything. Everything is awesome. Okay. Let's think about this. Any grid I click on, regardless of what it is, I want it to churn out Sorry, I just got a ping. Apparently, New World was pushed back to September 28th. RIP. I was looking forward to playing that too. well, Blessed Unleash it is. Anyways, let us continue. We need to figure out how to click on any grid and get it to work the way we want. So, where are we at? Here we are. It's not a grid component. We want whenever we click on something in particular. How do we do that? If get button down. How would I go about doing this? I know it's not a component, it's a class. You know what? Unity API. Here we go. Unity. Interactions, input, how to. All right. Oh yeah, there is an input system, isn't there? Well, I never actually use it, so let me figure out how to use it. Input system. So how do I do that? Installation. All right. Install the package. Input system. All right. Let's use that. Where is it? All right, let's see here. Registry. System. Install. All right, let's get this bad boy in here and see what's up. Maybe he can help. We'll see. All right. So I installed that. Warning. Oh. The samples. Quick start guide. Directly from an input device. My player. Public void. Yada yada yada. So would I be putting this into the class itself? That seems a little dank. Getting input directly through an input action. Add a player input component. Create actions. Okay, we'll try it this way. Let's take a look. So We're gonna try this. See how this goes. All right, so component. Actually, see, I don't even know if this is correct, but you know, we'll see. We'll see. I feel like I'm overcomplicating it. It should be relatively straightforward, but all right. Because the more generic way to get this working is I would have to set, like, if I've clicked on each one, and I'm not about to do that because I know that's wrong, but I need to figure this out. Got a player input component. So you would come over here and you would say player. Huh? Did I not install that properly? Interesting. They mean asset store. Wait. I think this is. How'd I figure this out? Getting input directly from my input device is convenient but requires a separate path for each type of device. Oh, yeah. I think this is going a bit beyond what I'm trying to do, perhaps. Invoke event. Default scheme, action map, model, player event, game actions. Yeah. Maybe going beyond what I want. We'll see. Would like to use this though, but I do know another tutorial I can do for that because Samyam, I think's her name. She has a whole thing on using the input system, which I'd like to go over. I will go over. There's many, a bunch of people have different input systems, but I would like to go over hers eventually as well because it'll teach me how to use this. Haha. But for now, I am honestly lost on this, guys. I have no idea how to do this. Obviously, as we saw, we know how to get it up and working, or we know how to get the screen to look as we want. But I mean, outside of that, only one of the grids will function as we want. Now, I wonder if he actually tested that. Let me double back and look.
Outside. Let's test it out. There you go. It's set
So
down.
he has that.
Map. I'm going to make it. Alright, so here we have a whole bunch of different grids. Each of them has a different cell size, different width, different height, and they all work the same underneath. So you can see how this class, this code is extremely adaptable to whatever needs you have. So again, using this base, there's a ton of stuff that you can do with it. Now in here, I'll quickly show several potential.
Actually, maybe I did something wrong. Let's take a look.
So let's try making a grid with 5. Let's put it under. And let's put another one with
Oh, Jazz. Okay, I think I know what happened. Damn. Okay. So what actually happened was yeah, I saw Delta Games. I went in and I looked, and essentially what he ended up doing was he was creating new grids, but he wasn't assigning them to like a same variable or anything. So I feel so bad. This is what happens when I rush. He essentially did this. He went in here. Get rid of this. So we'll put it back to its default state, right? We zoom in, huh? I don't remember how to zoom in. I don't. Oh god, I'm opening things. Hotkeys, please. Control Shift? Control Shift? Oh god, that's not doing what I want. Alt Shift? Or Alt Plus? You know what? I'm just gonna zoom in normally. Because I've hit so many buttons, I probably tried to do so many things. When I was doing this earlier. I don't even know how to zoom into my screen. I'm great at this. Anyways, yeah, so he came in here. He set one of these. So it was like, he set that. The rest of these, he just had like this. So he just was creating new grids. But only one of them was actually being assigned. I don't know if this solves the problem. I didn't see him click on anything. But we'll see. So, testing live. Oh, projects using input system, but the native platform backend. And then, do you want to enable the backend? So, restart the editor. Disable the old. What? So means that no input from native devices will be caught. Huh? Project is using the new input system package, but the native platform backend for the new input system are not enabled. Player settings. No. I have to go in and get rid of that, I guess. Anyways, we'll do this real quick. All right, so. Oh, it still doesn't work for those, but it draws them. That's interesting.
Alright, so here we have a whole bunch of different grids. Each of them has a different cell size, different width, different height, and they all work the same underneath. So you can see how this code is extremely adaptable to whatever needs you have. So again, using this base, there's a ton of stuff that you can do with it. Now in here, I'll quickly show several potential uses for this grid map. I'm going to make a simple heat map to show where the mouse has been. I plan to do a completely detailed video on a heat map, but right now I just want to show what can be done using this as a base. If you like the video,
Okay. Well, going all the way through it, it didn't actually change it too much. I mean, we'll have to figure that out. As of right now, it looks like everything's going all right. I got the basics down for at least one grid. Figuring out how to get all of them to interact is a little interesting. How would I do that, though? Hmm. Only real thing I could think of is I'd have to create something for each one. I mean, this isn't going to work, is it? You can't just do that. Can you? I don't think so. Oh. Actually, hold on. If you click on it. So if I click down, I could essentially get the grid for that. How would you do that? So I click. This is going off topic. I don't know if I should just keep going throughout. You know what? We'll keep going. We'll follow the video. I'm sure the playlist. I'm sure eventually it'll get to the point where it's like, oh, well, you can't actually interact with these grids, and he shows us how to do it. But right now, we at least know that, you know, you can create multiple grids, adjust them however you want, across your game, across your screen. And if he doesn't show us how to do this in other videos or later, we'll just have to research and investigate it ourselves. Off the top of my head, the only thing I can really think of is when you click on the screen, perhaps you have something that is like a get game object, and then if it is what we're looking for, then we call the set value for it. So that's the only thing I can really think of. But all right, let's continue on to the next one on his playlist, which is here. I think. Hold on. All right, so the next one on his playlist, we did grid system in Unity. Now we're gonna go ahead and do powerful generics. So let's go ahead and grab that. Oh, things are everywhere, all over my screen. Okay, start from the beginning.
we're going to take our grid map and convert it to use generics. This gives us a lot more options with what we can do rather than being stuck on using a specific type. With this base, we can easily make games like Minesweeper or Terraria, or easily organize complex logic. Let's begin!
Aha! Alright. Although wait, I think I was supposed to do the mesh
So
one.
our goal here is to
Well, if I don't have my mesh, I don't know if I can do this one. All right, so we might have to double back and learn how to create a dynamic mesh, folks. That way we can actually do this. So let me grab that video. I don't think that takes very long, honestly. But we'll see. I am always optimistic. I should say that. But I'm optimistic this will not take long. So how to create...
In this video, we're going to see how we can make
This
a mesh
guy.
dynamically through code. This is extremely useful in many scenarios, like for making a custom animation system, like the one I use in my videos, or making a heat map or a radar chart. Let's begin!
All right.
Hello and welcome, I'm your Code Monkey, and this channel is all about helping you learn how to make your own games with in-depth tutorials made by a professional.
All right. First, let us do something because I don't want to have this tied directly into here. I've been trying to experiment with creating packages and whatnot because yes. Let's see. All right, so we got this so far, right? I'm gonna say this is the core. I'll export this. Export this package as base grid. All right, cool. Nice. We'll do. All right. Now I'm ready to continue. All right. Let's get into it.
Professional indie game. As you will soon see, and making meshes through code allows you to dynamically generate interesting shapes on the fly. We can modify the vertices and what part of the texture is rendered, which allows for very useful effects. One of the recent videos was covering a radar chart in the UI, and the shape for that radar is using a custom mesh. The environment heat map used in Battle Royale Tycoon along with the floor tiles are all based on dynamic meshes. Another example is simply the animation system that I use in my videos. Each unit is a single mesh that is dynamically composed of multiple quads that display certain parts of the texture. Also, the persistent particle system that I use for block particles is also mesh-based. Each particle is a single quad that moves its vertices until it comes to a complete stop. So this is just a sample of all the awesome stuff you can create once you know how to create custom dynamic meshes. So in this video, we're going to learn how to create a mesh completely from scratch. We're going to see how something is rendered on screen, then we're going to learn to create the mesh object in code, learn what size each of the mesh elements need to be, draw a triangle, then apply a texture to it, and finally draw another triangle in order to create a square. With that, you will know everything you need to know in order to make your own custom meshes to create your own specific awesome systems.
So yeah, I didn't post this up, but again, in order to do this, we're gonna need to go and essentially go here. You can check out CodeMonkey, find make awesome mesh, awesome effects with meshes in Unity. It is also under the previous video. Everything's all wonky. Yeah. Well, actually, for the one we're working on and the previous one, here's a link for it in the description. Make awesome effects with meshes. So yeah, check that out. You can follow along if you're trying to add it, or just go at your own pace. Whatever. Let's go along.
Then in the end, I will expand upon the code to make some examples of custom meshes in action, like a floor tile and a animation system. Okay, so now that we've seen just how useful it is being able to make a mesh through code, let's talk about how something is actually rendered on screen. So here is my empty scene, there's nothing on it. Over here in the hierarchy, you can see that all I have is the UI and a simple camera. And the camera, as you can see, it is rendering completely in black. Now here I make a new game object, and again, still nothing is rendered. Now I add a mesh filter and a mesh renderer, and again.
Alright, so I need to change the music. It's a bit too chill for me. Let's try their jazzy lo-fi. A little bit more beat to it. Alright, I can deal with that. Alright, so he's got his main camera. What else? He's got a UI. Alright, well, let's do that. Let's make our UI. Wait, what is in his UI?
Again, still add a mesh, and the camera, as you can see, it is rendering completely in black. Now here I make a new game object, and again, still nothing is rendered. Now I add a mesh filter and a mesh renderer, and again, still nothing visible. However, now I go in here and I set a mesh. Let's use the default quad. And now finally you can see something. Let's increase it. And now I drag a material onto it, and there you go, we can now view our texture. So these are the two core components that we need in order to render something on screen.
Oh yeah. Well, I guess I still need that, don't we? Alright, so I guess also yeah, I'll pull that from my other file. Because I have gone over this video before. But if you want to get that texture, gonna need to grab that. You can go to a site. All of his stuff he has it linked. You can go directly to a site and download this stuff. All of his videos come with a download to the project file, and it's pretty cool. And he's awesome for doing that. But yeah, let's see, dynamic mesh, assets, textures. Yeah, so here we go. You gotta pull all that in. Mod, our materials. Currently have none. Drag this bad boy over. Drop him in there. I think I remember how to do this correctly. You can't just Can't just add him in here, right? So have to turn into a material, so I don't remember how to do this. It's been a hot minute. Create material. Rip. I don't remember how to do this part. Done it before. How in the hell? How did I make that material last time? God. I'm supposed to be good at this. Lol. Anyways.
And now I drag a material onto it, and there you go, we can now view our texture. So
How the hell? Alright, so apparently I gotta figure out how to make a material. Put the texture to it. I am drawing a big blank on. Let's see. When in doubt, just ask. Inspector, texture import settings apply. To use import asset in your project, create material. Wait, what? That's not it. It's like, yeah, sure, okay, but it's definitely not that. God, how do I not remember how to do this? Ah. Hmm. Boy. Okay. Hmm. I don't know how to do this. Sorry, I'm reading up stuff right now, and I am flabbergasted. I don't know how to do this. Watch it be something relatively easy to. Wait, what? That's a prefab. That's not material, though. My simple, tiny brain. My smooth brain's not working. Always caught on these little hitches. Well. All right. Well, I can only imagine this isn't very much fun watching me struggle bust my way around. Let me figure it out. Hmm. What? I did that. It did not work. My soul hurts. Okay. Bruh. It was that easy, guys. I can't believe I forgot how to do that. Can't believe it. Okay. Crisis averted. We did it. All that just to continue on with this. Jesus. All right. Shit. So that's how you do it. You just drag the thing onto this. Man, I feel dumb. Okay, well, let's name our material, I guess. So later on down the line, you can all point back to this moment. People will find it and be like, hey, you remember when you didn't even know how to add a texture to a material? Man, have you come a long way. Yeah. Awesome sauce. Okay. Jeez, man, I feel so dumb. Okay. Where's the video? Okay. We'll just call this what, heat map. Okay. All right. Back
These
to
are
it.
the two core components that we need in order to render something on screen. We have a mesh and a mesh renderer. The mesh is what defines the shape that is rendered, and the material contains the texture data to be applied to that mesh. As you may know, computer graphics are made using polygons, so triangles, and over here I have chosen the default quad mesh, and in order to make a quad or a square, we need two polygons or two triangles. And if we go in here on our scene, we can select, here it is currently shaded, and we select wireframe instead. And you can see indeed that our quad is made up of two polygons. So here we have one, and down here we have another. So you put two of them together and we have a nice square, making a quad mesh. The Sprite Renderer works exactly the same way. So if we go in here, create a new sprite, there it is, the Sprite Renderer, drag the sprite. And here you can see the Sprite Render does exactly the same thing, also has a quad with two polygons. Alright, so now that we've seen how something is rendered on screen, let's see.
Oh, I totally skipped something. Whoops. I'm really good at this. Everyone know that?
It's still nothing visible. However, now I go in here and I set a mesh. Let's use the default quad. And now finally you can see something. Let's increase it. And now I drag a material onto it, and there you go, we can now view our texture. So these are the two core components that we need in order to render something on screen.
Alright, so let's buff this up so we can see it better. There you go. Now, why is it dark as hell? Did I do something? Oh. Okay. Although it shouldn't be that dark. What the heck's going on? Whatever. Okay. Fake, metallic,
We have a mesh and a mesh renderer. The mesh is what defines the shape that is rendered, and the material contains the texture data to be applied to that mesh. As you may know, computer graphics are made using polygons, so triangles, and over here I have chosen the default quad mesh, and in order to make a quad or a square, we need two polygons or two triangles. And if we go in here on our scene, we can select, here it is currently shaded, and we select wireframe instead. And you can see indeed that our quad is made up of two polygons. So here we have one, and down here we have another. So you put two of them together and we have a nice square, making a quad mesh. The Sprite Renderer works exactly the same way. So if we go in here, create a new sprite, there it is, the Sprite Renderer, drag the sprite. And here you can see the Sprite Renderer does exactly the same thing, also has a quad with two polygons. Alright, so now that we've seen how something is rendered on screen, let's see how we can dynamically create a mesh through code. So let's make a script to test our code. So in here, make a new C# script. Let's call it our testing. Let's make a new game object.
It does that. It pops up in my thing, but it doesn't actually give the code itself or the script itself. It just pops it open. It's like, oh, okay. Thanks.
Call it testing.
I'm trying to figure out why that's so dark. So my material that I used. No idea why this is dark. Oh my god. I have no idea why it's so dark, guys. I'll need a directional light.
And drag the script onto it. Okay. Now here in our script, let's first just go into our private void start and do a simple debug.log just to make sure that our script is running. Okay, let's see the console. And we have our console saying test. Okay, great. So our script is running correctly. Now in here, let's start by creating a mesh. So it's going to be an object of type mesh. Let's call it mesh and we just do new mesh. Alright, there's our mesh object. However, like this, all we've done is create a mesh in memory. It doesn't really exist in our scene. In order to show our mesh, like we saw, one of the things we need is a mesh filter. So here in our testing object, let's add a mesh filter. And now we can go back into our code, and here we get the component of type mesh filter, and we set the mesh to be our newly created mesh. Okay, now let's test. Okay, here we are, and still nothing is visible. However, if we inspect in here on our mesh filter, we can see that there's something in there. And if we double click, we can now inspect the mesh and we can see that it has 0 vertices and 0 triangles. So the mesh has no data, but we did manage to create and assign it. Okay, so far so good. Alright, now let's set up the vertices and triangles. Over here, back in our code, when we create the mesh, there are 3 fields that we need to set. We need to set the vertices, which is an array of vector 3s. Vertices represent each vertex of our mesh.
Alright, let's see here. Get rid of that. Get a new one. We'll say drag that over here. Mesh filter. Wait, what? Oh, I'm stupid. I accidentally got rid of everything. Ah. Yeah, that'll do it. I was like, wait, what? I think it's nearing lunchtime. Also means I gotta walk the dogs.
Then we also need to set the UV. This is an array of vector 2s, which define the part of the texture that matches with a certain vertex. And finally, we need to set the triangles, which is an array of ints, which define the vertex index, and 3 of them make up a polygon. Okay, so let's set them all up. First, let's make some local arrays. We're going to set them up, and only in the end do we assign it to our mesh. So we need an array of vector 3s for our vertices. Then we need an array of vector 2s for our UV. And finally, we need an array of ints for our triangles. Alright, so we do it, we set them all up, and finally we upload them to the mesh. Alright, so far so good. Now, as you can see, we need to define a size for our arrays. So let's start off with the simplest thing we can render, which is a single polygon. In order to create a triangle polygon, we need 3 points. So here we're going to have 3 vertices. Then the UV is always the same size as the vertices, so we also have 3. And finally, the triangles contains the indexes of each vertex that makes up a triangle. And a triangle is made up of 3 points, so in here, again, we're also going to have 3. Alright, so just like this, let's test and inspect our mesh. Okay, so here we are, we still can't see anything, but let's inspect our mesh. And there it is, our mesh.
You figure out why everything's black.
It has 3 vertices, it has UV, and 1 triangle, 1 polygon triangle. Alright, great. Back in the code. In here, let's define our vertices. So we're going to have 3 vertices. For vertex 0, let's put it on new vector 3 on 0, 0.
Hold on a second. Alright, cool. Oh man. Oh, this is fun. I don't understand why. I always have like weird hiccups when I'm doing this stuff. I have no idea why that's like that. Like, why is the light source being in the thing? This is fine.
Then,
actually, you know what? No. I really should go. I should probably eat, take the dogs out, get a bit of air, come back. I'll probably pick it back up. Well, excuse me. But yeah. I ran into a few issues, but overall, I think we got the base grid accomplished now. We're just adding this whole texture and creating dynamic meshes. So, actually, I don't even know how far we have to go with this. We have the mesh, or well, no, we should create the dynamic mesh. That way we can move on to the heat map. Then we can continue on with the grid system. So I guess this will be a good stopping point. Yeah, thanks for stopping in, Delta Games. Thanks for telling me to watch it out. And yeah, I guess I will continue to do some research offline, back in, and then tomorrow we'll pick it back up. Yeah. So then.